Cords! They're the unfortunate reality of owning literally anything that plugs into the wall. And I'm sure we all know just how messy and ugly these things can get. But unfortunately, until us humans can figure out how to power things wirelessly, we're gonna have to deal with all these guys right here. So today, I'm gonna be sharing some tips and tricks on how to do just that. Before we get started here, I just wanted to say this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, and I was not sent anything specifically for this video, so everything that I say will be my raw and honest opinion, and as usual, I'll drop links to everything that I mentioned in this video in the description below so that you can go and have a look at everything for yourself. Alright, first up, let's go over some ways to get your cords nicely organized without having to go out and purchase anything extra. Take a look around your space and find things like baseboards, corners where walls meet, or furniture that could be used as a guide for running wire. Keeping your cords along the perimeter of your room or a piece of furniture is going to help make them significantly less noticeable. Also, when running your wires, make sure you keep them flush against the surface you're running them along as possible. The flatter the cord is, the better. You can achieve this by using double-sided tape, 3M sticky pads, or just something along those lines. If you're trying to hide cords coming down from a piece of furniture that doesn't have a back, say for instance this tiny little table, use some masking tape and run the cords down the legs of the table so that from the front, you won't be able to see any wires. If you are willing to spend a little bit of money, I highly recommend these Command cord clips, which are fully compatible with the Command sticky pads I mentioned earlier and can be attached to literally anything to help with running wires. You can use the tiny little clear Command hooks as well, but these clips are specifically designed to be used with cords and allow you to fit several cables instead of just one or two. In my experience, these tend to be able to hold around 4 to 5 smaller cords and 1 to 2 bigger cords, but obviously this is going to depend on your specific use case. And perhaps the best thing about Command products, all you got to do to remove them is pull down on the tabs, and 99% of the time it won't do any damage to your walls. Alternatively, you can get clips that use a nail instead of sticky tape if you're worried about the tape not holding, and I use these particular ones for running some Ethernet cable along walls and ceilings. However, this is going to mean that your installation is going to be a lot more permanent than the sticky pads, so just keep that in mind. But what if your problem isn't necessarily the cords themselves, but rather the plugs that make them work? Or what if you need to be able to push furniture as close to the wall as possible, but those ridiculously bulky power adapters are getting in the way? Well, that's where this next product from a company called Sleek Socket comes into play. This is a completely flat profile extension cord that is designed to look like a wall plate and will allow you to push furniture right up against the wall, unlike most others. Setup is super simple, it's an extension cord like any other, and the box also includes adhesive cord clips and double-sided sticky pads to help keep things looking as sleek as possible. I've used one of these things to clean up some really ugly wires going to that table that I showed you earlier, and the difference that it makes is incredible. In this particular setup, I've employed all of the methods I mentioned previously, and personally, I think it turned out really well. Alright, that's all well and good, but what if you still need a way to hide the plugs that are attached to the extension cord? Well, allow me to bestow upon you the power strip box. Yes, it sounds weird, please just bear with me. It's exactly what it sounds like, a power strip that sits inside a box to hide the ugly power adapters attached to it. You can get these things with the power strip already built in, or you can make your own using an old storage bin or something like that, given that it already has holes on the side to run your cords through. After that, it's as simple as plugging everything in and getting the cables back outside the container. I got this particular one from Target, and for the most part it works, but I actually ended up having to detach the power strip from the inside of it because some of the plugs wouldn't fit onto the power strip. That is something to make sure you keep in mind if you do decide to go down this route. Make sure that all of your plugs will fit on the power strip and inside of the box, otherwise you're going to end up wasting money, and no one likes that. Okay, so related to the power strip box method, I want to quickly show you my desk setup. So as you can see here, we only have 2 plugs visible at the bottom of the desk. And that is because I've actually taken the power strip and I've popped it inside of this little compartment right here. You can't really see it. So if you have some sort of compartment that can hold your power strip or just something with all of those plugs, put it in there, because there used to be like 50 cords coming down here to the power strip on the floor, and now it's just these 2, and the difference it makes is incredible. Now what if you followed my steps for keeping cords flush against where they're mounted, but still don't like the way they look? Or what if you need to run cords up a wall to get to something like a wall-mounted TV? Enter the wire guide. These things are essentially tubes that you run your cords through, and they help to create a cleaner look. These things can be found pretty much anywhere. My local hardware store had an entire section of these things, and there's a bunch of different sizes and kits that you can get online. Most also come with adhesive backing, so it's as simple as removing it and then sticking it to the surface that you want to mount it on. I'm going to be using some of these to help clean up a socket where wires split and go in opposite directions. They can be cut to size easily using a cheap hacksaw, and installation is pretty straightforward from that point on. Once installed, you can paint them the same color as your walls to help them blend in. Depending on your specific setup, installation can be a little challenging, especially if you already have cords in that location. But trust me, it's all worth it in the end. I'll start by making sure I have the right length to fit the space, and then get the cords inside. Then it's as simple as aligning it and peeling off the sticky tape to get it in place. I'm going to use some more on the other side of that plug, but I first need to remove the clips that I previously used to keep this particular cord in place. This is an important step. Make sure that the place you're sticking the wire guides to is clean and flat, otherwise they may become loose over time. After that, it's the exact same procedure of aligning the tube and then sticking it to the wall. And just like that, we're done. In this particular setup, I've combined the wire guide method and the power strip box method, and I think it turned out pretty well. No, I'm not going to do anything about the wall socket. The plugs are thin enough and are covered by curtains half the time anyway, so I don't really care about them. And that just about does it for my cord management tips and tricks. As I said in the beginning, links to all these products will be in the description below, so you can go and check them out for yourself. Hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content from me. Otherwise, that's about it for this one, and I'll see y'all next time.